I'm going to get us started really quickly, just with an affirmation. I've been saying my favorite affirmation over and over again this week because I am challenging myself to do some things differently. And you know, when you challenge yourself, a lot of times fear kind of peeps its little ugly head, or as I like to call it, the drunk monkey likes to pop up, right? And you start creating these narratives in your head. So I want you guys to all help me with this affirmation. And we're going to do this every call where we're going to unmute and share one affirmation together. So if you guys can unmute, and I'm going to count to three, and I'm going to have you guys repeat after me when I count to three. The affirmation is what's on my push bracelet. All of you guys in push.
I want it more than I think.
You got it, Liz Vega.
So, oops, sorry.
So the no, you're good. You're good. The affirmation, and I want everybody to unmute, is I want it more than I fear it. Because all of you guys are on this call because you want to have a certain business, a certain level of business and production. And a lot of time fear does get in the way. And we have to want to have the success more than we fear picking up the phone. You guys would agree with that, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And just so you know, what I did right now is a script. I did a tie down. I said a statement, and then I said, wouldn't you? You guys all say yes. This is a big part of sales, learning how to use tie downs. I think you guys would agree with that, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Did it again. Did it. Sorry.
And nod your head.
Exactly. It's Friday. I'm in a goofy mood. I'm about to, go do some work at my favorite second office today. So I'm excited about that. So the affirmation is I want it more than I fear it. Everybody on the count of three, I want us all to say it together. All of you that can unmute. So 1, 2, 3. I want it more than I fear it. And I
want Matt, you want it more than you fear, right, brother? Right,
yes,
brother.
Yes.
Right.
And I want you guys to get in the habit of saying that. Like, it's so important. It's so important. So today I thought we have a little fun to switch it up and do something different. You know, we've been doing some objection handling, and there are times when I let people just continue to talk, and I should stop that. You know, we have to be really quickly at replying to these objections. And so I want to get us into the mindset of responding within 1 minute. So what I'm going to do today is something different. I'm actually going to put a timer up for 1 minute, and I'm going to give an objection, and you have a minute to overcome that objection. You guys game for that? Yeah.
Let's do this. Yeah.
Let's do it. All right. So I got this timer here. Hold on 1 second. All right. There we go. I just want to see it. Show timer to all. There we go. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off. I have a whole list of objections that are here that I'm going to just throw out. And then I want people to raise their hand if you want an opportunity to overcome that objection. And if I don't have any hands raised, guess what? I'm going to call on you. So be ready to unmute. So, and I don't want to hear from the same person over and over again. If you go, give someone else an opportunity to go. And if there is an objection that you want covered that you aren't hearing coming up, throw that objection in the chat, and I will be checking the chat as well. So I love the fact, Peter, are you raising your hand to overcome it, or did you have a question really quick? All right, see, Peter's ready. Look at him. He's like, whatever it is, D, give it to me. So I have my wheel of objections right here. So I'm just going to click the wheel so it's randomly giving me an objection. Here we go. This thing is so whack. Here we go. You know, Pete, I appreciate you being here. I want to actually find the house first before I put my house on the market. So can we do that?
Yeah, fair enough. So, excuse me, David. So tell me, what's important about finding the home before you put your house on the market?
I mean, it's just very little inventory, and I don't want to go through the hassle of having my house on the market if I don't have a place to move to.
Gotcha. And now, David, if we say we were to go out there and we were to find that perfect home, that 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in the neighborhood that you want, that gives you, the more space that you need to suit your family, and we actually couldn't get that property under contract, and you couldn't actually buy that property because your house wasn't on the market, how would that feel?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want that to happen. Like I said, we already can't find anything, so I definitely wouldn't want that to happen.
Right. So the challenge is if you need to sell your home in order to buy, that could be a challenge, and that could be something that we face. So does it make sense to put your home on the market so when we find that house, you're ready to pull the trigger on it?
Man, you hit it right at the minute mark. Go ahead, Pete. That was pressure. You guys felt like that was a good response from Pete. He got into question mode. He got me asking questions and thinking about things differently. And what I loved about this objection handling from Pete, he's painting this picture of me going out, finding the ideal home. And then if my home hasn't sold, if it's not on the market and I miss out on that opportunity, how's that make me feel? Right. So he's getting me to like agree with him, like, yeah, I can't let that happen. I already can't find what I'm looking for. So I don't want to find the perfect house and can't pull the trigger because my home isn't on the market. So good job with that, Pete. I want to see if somebody else will handle that same objection a different way. Anybody else want to give that one a shot before we move on to the next one? Let me say something really quickly. We sweat in practice so we don't bleed in war. What this means is get out of your comfort zone, get off the sideline. You got something to say, raise your hand. It's not supposed to be perfect. If you knew what to say every single time, you wouldn't be in this class, would you? So get out of your comfort zone. I want to see some people get comfortable being uncomfortable and raising your hand. So if you don't raise your hand, that just gives me permission to call on you, right? So here's the objection I have. Listen, we're not going to put our house on the market until we actually find a house. Can you tell me how you would handle that? I'm coming to Carlton. What's up, Carlton? And you got to say something different than Pete.
All right. Good morning, everyone. David, I understand your concern, but what sort of house do you have in mind, and how are we going to know what you're actually able to obtain if we don't get an idea of what sort of equity we could pull out of your home?
Well, I mean, for me, we want to buy a 2-family home. We're retired, so we want to have that other unit helping us, pay the mortgage. And we just haven't been able to find a property like that. As far as equity goes, though, we don't own anything on our house, so it's free and clear. So I think we're in a good situation.
Yep. So you're thinking about maybe like somewhat of a downgrade, like you're tired of, going up and down the stairs, like empty nesters that just want to get something smaller?
No, just want to get something that's income producing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if it's income producing, let's just find out exactly what you would be able to. Obviously, if your home currently is free and clear, it's not really a matter of a pre-qualification, but let's just at least see what the market bears in terms of your property, and how would you feel if we could find that perfect property? Thumbs up.
All right, so let me ask you this, Carlton. So I know you weren't ready for me to call on you, and that's the whole point of this, right? But when you hear me saying like, "Hey, this is what I want to do. I want to wait until I find that perfect property," what's your gut say to you? Like, what do you think about just naturally when someone says that to you?
Why wait? What are you waiting on?
Yeah. What's important about waiting, right? And I kind of explained that like, hey, I just want to make sure we get the right property. I want the income producing property. And so is there a reason why I should not wait that you would want to share with me?
I can't really find a compelling reason that Pete didn't already touch on.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's fair, man. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you speaking up. Who else can tell me, like, is there another reason why I should not wait?
So
prices.
in-
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Nandini.
yeah, so maybe I would kind of start with David. I totally understand your concern, knowing the tight inventory right now in the market. However, now this becomes like a little bit of a chicken and egg story. So it's best to probably do things in parallel. That way, you know what you have out there, as well as you've got your home listed, so you can work in parallel. And if we find you something and your home is still not listed and you don't have the ready funds, that could also put us in a little bit of a fix.
I like that. It can put us in the fix. Keep going. I just want you to go for a little bit longer with that. Keep going.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on that, David? Have you thought about that scenario if that happens? Because sometimes we find the perfect home just when we get right out there.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you there. Did you guys notice the questions that she was bringing up? This has been coming up a lot of times, and I think we talked about this in push class the other day. We are getting a lot of objections, and sometimes instead of just overcoming the objections, we need to go into question mode. Do you guys have a list of questions written down about certain objections that come up? If my objection's commission, if my objections, I want to wait and think it over. If my objection is I have a close friend or a relative that I want to list the property with, are there questions that we should be asking before we start objection handling, just to get more clarity and a better understanding of where that person's coming from? So as we do this role play and you're hearing things come up and questions that Nandini's asking or questions that Pete's asking, what I recommend you do when you go back and watch this recording, when I send it to you, start writing up a list of questions. You should have your scripts, you should have your objection handlers, and you should have a list of questions that you can bring up when you're on the phone or even in person with people that will help you break through that objection. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, here's the next objection. Will you lower your commission? Just somebody raise your hand to get after it. Will you lower your commission?
No,
Raj.
any other questions?
Well,
No.
damn, I
Any other-
didn't even have a chance to start timer, but there we go. Okay, so no. Any other questions? Raj, is that the best way to handle that objection handler? It's no, is a complete sentence. No. Any other questions? Raj is absolutely correct.
Should I have paused it like no? Or just no, any other questions? I know that the pauses do matter sometimes.
The pauses matter the way I say it, and I'm looking directly at them when I say this. No. Do you have any other questions? And here's the key. Right after I say that, what should I do? Somebody unmute and tell me what I should do after I say that.
STFU.
Yes.
Wait,
shut up.
wait. Shut up.
Yes. Wait for them to respond. No. Do you have any other questions? It gets really uncomfortable, don't it? You have to sit there and wait. Let them be the first person to respond. A lot of times they're told, hey, just see if your agent will negotiate their commission. Mine did. And so they're doing what they're told. They're asking, will you negotiate? And when you say no and you sit there and you're quiet, they're looking at each other and they're like, okay. Half the time they'll say yes just because you said no. And yet, if they continue to push and they still want you to lower your commission and they say, like, listen, Dave, we'll list with you, but 6%, we're not doing that. We'll do it at 5%. Will you do it at 5%? I'll give you the listing tonight. What's the objection handler? Somebody give it to me. Raise your hand. Let's go. And you can't say what Rod said. Bueller?
So what's important to you about getting a lower commission? Is it what you net or is it what you pay me?
It's both of them. I mean, listen, I have to net a certain amount. I'm not paying 6%. I had several agents call me. One's willing to do it at 5%. Someone else is willing to do it at 4.5%. You know, why would I pay you 6%?
I can certainly appreciate that. And you know what worries me about that, David?
What?
Well, if they're so willing to, you know, give away or negotiate their salary down, what are they going to do with getting you the best price, highest top dollar for your property? Do you think that they're going to fight as hard for you, or are they just going to, like, you know, okay, and take the first offer that comes in?
Good question. Hadn't thought about that.
Let me ask you this. Do you know what list price to sales price ratio is?
All right. I was waiting for you to wrap it up quickly because that timer was going down. You were going down the right road though, right? Walk this through me with me again, Ariane. So you said to me, like, pretty much what you're trying to outline is you need somebody who's going to be a great negotiator for you. They can't even negotiate how they get paid. That's the road you're going down, right?
Yes.
So quickly tell me why I should use you.
Because I'm going to fight for you to get the top to get the highest price for you so that you can make that move to North Carolina.
Can you say it where I believe you? Like, convince me that that's the truth?
because I'm going to fight for you. Don't you want to go down to North Carolina sooner rather than later and start and get that income property so that you can live?
Well, of course. I mean, that's why we're selling the
extra
house.
income?
Yeah, of course. That's why we're selling the house, Ariane.
Exactly. So, why don't we do the right thing and sign the contract and put me to work for you today?
Quick question for the group, and just raise your hand, give her thumbs up. Did you guys believe her? Thumbs down if you didn't. You guys believe her? Ariane, I believed you. However, what I need you guys to understand and what I'm looking to get Ariane to do, it's our confidence. A lot of times it's how we show up and how we say it and what we say. It's our confidence. It's like, no, I don't lower my commission. I'm a bulldog. I fight for my commission. How that benefits you, I'm fighting for your equity too. And I know this home is paid off and you don't owe anything. And I'm sure you want to pull all of your equity out, don't you? That's why you hire me. Just like I'm fighting for my commission, I'm fighting for your equity. I mean, that's what you want, don't you? And I'm tying it down. And guess what I'm doing? You see how I'm nodding my head? Get in the habit of doing that. Even if you're on the phone, when you're using a tie down and you're trying to convince them to agree with you, do this. It works on your wives and your husbands too. Just, this stuff works. Trust me. And your kids too.
And your kids.
But your kids have to be looking at you half the time they're looking at the phone. Anyhow, Jan, go ahead. Go ahead, man.
Hey, David, thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate the question. David, I have a question for you. If I asked you to show up to work next week and work the same 40 hours you worked last week, but you would get paid 30% less, would you show up to work with the same energy, enthusiasm, and effort?
Absolutely not.
Right, of course not, right? Listen, David, I work too hard and I'm too valuable to cut my commission, and I wouldn't cut my commission because that means I'm a bad stewardess of my own money. And if I don't care about a couple $1,000s of my own money, how am I going to care about a couple $100,000 of your equity? Is that fair to say?
Never thought of it that way, but I'm following you.
Great. I tell you what, Dave, let's go ahead and do the right thing. Sign the contract. Does that sound good?
Let's go for it. All right, you got that under a minute. I want to tighten that up a little bit before I say what I would say. Anybody want to tighten up that script a little bit? It's a great script. What would you guys say differently using that same script? Go ahead, Manny.
I was going to say, why do we always say commission and not say my fee? Because I always feel that when we talk about commission sounds like it's something for free. Why don't we start saying more my fee? When you go to see a doctor and the doctor says, hey, my visit here is $350. Do you negotiate his fee? That's how I kind of I've been trying to do that more often in my business and make it a fee versus saying commission. I don't know.
I heard somebody on one of these calls say success fee.
Yeah, that was
success
me.
fee.
Yeah.
I was just reading the script. I wasn't.
No, you're good.
No, he was great.
You were good,
I'm
man.
not saying.
Yeah, but my fee, my professional fee, my success fee, I think just the word commission is just in my head from 20 years of doing scripting. Saying commission is something I have to work to replace. I like saying professional fee. I like that. I like the way that sounds. So I would encourage you guys, if you're in agreement with that, change your script up. It can say professional fee, success fee, my fee, commission, whichever one sounds more comfortable, and maybe play around with it and see how people respond. Jan, let me go back to you really quickly, and you role play with me, and I'll say to you. So, Jan, let me ask you, if you came to work and you work hard 40 hours a week, and your boss tells you next week when you come in, he expects you to do your 40 hours, but he's going to give you a 30% pay cut. Are you going to be excited about that? Are you going to come in and work as hard as you should work if you have a 30% pay reduction?
Probably not, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you being honest with me, and yet that's exactly what you expect that agent to do. You cut their commission down, and you expect them to show up and do their best to get your home sold. It doesn't work like that. And Jayon, that's exactly why I don't discount my commission. You want a bulldog like me. I protect my commission. More importantly, I protect your equity to make sure you walk away with the most money at closing. So why don't we go ahead and do the right thing, sign the paperwork so I can get your house on the market and get it sold? Fair enough?
Fair enough, David.
So I like your script. I just want you to relate it to like what's happening right now. Like that's what you're trying to have the other agent do. You think they're going to work hard for you? Absolutely not. Put me to work and just be direct. Just go straight at them with it.
Can I just point something out real quick?
Go for it, Pete.
Now, I hope I'm saying it right. Jayon, you're reading from a script right now, right? Were you looking at a script and reading it?
Yeah, I'm reading it right off my phone.
I just want to say congratulations. Like, thank you for doing that, because like I've been doing a lot of role playing stuff lately, and just, it's okay to have your script, read it in front of you, like have it in front of you. I think like, just want to give you a round of applause, a kudos for that, because I think a lot of times think we have to like, no, I can't read right from it. This is why we're here. We're reading it. We know that when we read it and we internalize it, at least, even if you don't say it verbatim when you're in the appointment, you still retain 60 to 70% of it, which is the point. So kudos to you. Great job.
Pete, thank you for bringing that up, Pete. Even on listing presentations, I would take my listing presentation script with me. It wouldn't be the PDF version of the presentation. It would be the one I had handwritten. But there are times when there's a pattern interrupt that happens and the seller says something that just completely throws you off of your game. And you're like, what am I supposed to say next? When I can just glance down and say, oh, I have 3 goals for our meeting tonight. I'm not going to read the script. However, if I've internalized it, if I've practiced the script and I've written it down, all I need to do is glance down for a quick second and it jogs my memory on where I should be. And think about this, and I brought this up on the call before, any late night talk show host that you watch, when they have a guest come on, what do? They grab an index card and they start reading directly from their script. They have a list of questions for that person, and they don't have a problem. Hey, I wrote down 3 questions for you. So, and they go right into it. Don't let that handicap with you. I think Pete's absolutely right. Have your script available. We attempt to wing it too much. The script is there for a reason. We should be following the script. Alexia, go ahead.
Hi, David. I was actually going to play devil's advocate to what the lady said earlier. And God, I'm trying to remember. What did she say? She said something about, it was about cutting the commission. Right. So I'm thinking, just like you're asking them, if I cut my commission, won't they say, you're not going to work as hard. She said, I'm not going to work as hard to get you what you really want for your house. But then aren't you the realtor cutting yourself too? Like, why would you? I don't think I would mention that, because I'm thinking then they would say, but you don't want to get less than your 4%. So why would you work any less? I don't know. Maybe I'm confusing you guys, but that was what I was playing devil's advocate. Like,
yeah, I'm a little confused there, but let me tell you this, because I think I know where you were going. And here's the thing, right? You have these sellers that don't want to pay your 6%.
Right.
And they want you to do it for 5 as an example.
Right.
However, if I turned around and said, okay, if I get you top dollar and get you more than list price, are you willing to pay me 7? What are they going to say? No, they're not going to be willing to pay me more if I get them more, right?
Right.
But they want me to take less. So what I end up saying is like, hey, you want me to take less, but you wouldn't pay me more if I got you more. So why don't we just go ahead and do the right thing and pay the 6%?
Okay, I like it that way.
Yeah.
That makes more.
Because they don't want to pay you more. And if they do agree to pay you more, maybe I would take that. But most of the time, they are not going to agree to pay you more.
Right. Gotcha. Thank you, David.
You got it, man. I got Lou on the call. Raise your hand and then I'll come to you guys.
Dave.
What's up, Lou? What's going on, sir?
Good morning, Dave. Thanks again for putting this together. I take a little bit of a different approach. I'm a little more analytical when it comes to the data. I like to know my statistics when I go into a conversation about the local market, where I play in that local market, how our office plays in that local market, because when it comes to money, people like to understand the dollars and cents, right? So the approach maybe that I would take a little bit more is, so there's something called lore, right? Which is your language of real estate. And you can compare that for your statistics to your local MLS statistics, whether you're using NJ MLS or Garden State MLS, and see where you're performing against that MLS or your offices, and use those statistics to your advantage. So specifically, I could say, David, I can appreciate your willingness to ask that question. Team Messer Cola Real Estate typically sells on average 108% over our asking price, and our days on the market are 24 days to get you under contract. Those are real dollars in your pocket. So if we're listing at 500,000, on average, we're getting our customers 8% over that 500,000, which is an extra $40,000 in your pocket. And by getting you under contract in 24 days, we're saving you money in your carrying costs. Those are direct dollars back into your pocket, right? So I like to lead down those kind of conversations, because then asking for the extra 1% is a no-brainer, because I'm covering my cost in the ability to drive traffic and get more people in the property and get you those higher numbers.
Okay, guys, that was a great nugget. So here's what I'm going to recommend. When you go back and watch the recording, fast forward it to about the 27-minute mark and listen to what Lou said again. You need to make that part of your conversation. And somebody, Lauren asked me if I would send the recording. The email that you guys use to register for this call, every Wednesday I send a email out. It has all the recordings and it has information about the next call. So you guys will all get the recording to the email that you use to register for this call, just so you know. Raj, you get the last word on this one, and we're going to move on to the next one.
So I got one guy who's like, okay, but can't you lower your commission? I'm buying a home with you. Like, we're looking for homes, so you're getting a lot of money on both sides. You can't go lower than that. So that is one thing I need. I don't know how to handle it. Like, well, I'm saying, well, yeah, but the seller pays the commission.
Okay, so Matt, handle that for Raj. Let's go.
Hey, Raj, I appreciate that question, and I greatly appreciate that. Let me ask you something real quick. Do you expect me to do anything less on the sale of your home that I wouldn't do for the purchase of your next one?
No, but I mean, you know, you're getting so much. You're getting money here. You know, you're getting money there. Mm-hmm. It's like, can you give us a break on at least the list price? I mean, the commission for the listing.
Sure. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. If I make you more than what you're anticipating in your sale of your property, are you going to pay me more?
Pay you more?
Yeah. Because you're
no,
asking.
I mean, no, I'm not. Unfortunately, no, I can't do that.
Okay. So if I'm going to work through a separate transaction with you and buy you a home, and I'm going to give you the same level of exemplary service in the sale and purchase of your home, we would agree that I would be worth my commission. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, that'd be correct.
Okay. I wouldn't ask you to take a lower hourly rate at work, would I?
No.
Okay. So if I could just get you to authorize and approve the listing agreement here, we can get started.
Love that, Matt. I love that. Raj, stay unmuted. So Raj, you're asking me, well, hold on. Anybody else want to tip to handle that objection differently than Matt handled it? Raj is saying, hey, I'm listing my house and I'm buying with you. Give me a discount on the commission because you're making a lot of money on both deals. How do you overcome that? Or it seems like all of you guys would just say, sure. I mean, you guys are giving your money away. That's what I'm reading in the room. You guys are just giving your money away. Is that the case? If you don't want to give that money away, what are you going to say to Raj? All right, I'm coming to Mr. Nick. Nick, tell Mr. Nick D, what would you say to Raj?
Well, it's funny because I actually lost a listing this way, and it's, you know, I asked him for 6%, and you know, I was also showing him other houses, and they said, could you lower the commission? And I said, sure, but what would you like me to take away from this, from all the things that I said I was going to do for you? Which ones aren't important? And then I broke down how much 6% really is. So I think when people say 6%, they think it really means 6%.
Right.
And they're like, wow, that's a lot. You know, so
they don't really know what it means. So let me ask you this, Nick, and just think about it this way. Somebody's coming to you and they're asking you to reduce the commission to help them buy something else. We know we talk about list price to sales price ratio when we get listings, right? We talk about that. Shouldn't we also know what our stats are when we help buyers buy a property? Like, are we saving our clients money and how much are we saving them? Isn't that a great argument to say, listen, the reason why you would want to use me, and you could find an agent who would do it for cheaper. However, when my clients use me to buy a house, I'm usually saving them 4 or 5% through negotiating. So is it really about the commission you pay me, or is it about what you end up paying for the house? That could be one, right? And then
Yeah.
what if I said to you, hey Nick, let me ask you a question. What do you do for a living? I know you're a real estate agent, but pretend you're something else. What do you do for a living?
Teacher.
You're a teacher. Okay. So what if your superintendent came to you and said, look, Nick, I know we pay you to teach. We want you to do an evening class, but we want you to, we're going to pay you less to do that in the evening. What would you say?
Why would you do that? Why wouldn't I get the pay I deserve?
Well, Nick, I'm giving you 2 jobs. You have one, I'm giving you 2. So, get work with us here and help us save some money. And this for the second class, I'd like you to do it at a lower rate.
So you're saying my ability is not valuable to you?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we have a budget and we're trying to stay within our budget. And I'd appreciate you working with us. Would you take that job, paying you the lower rate for the second class?
No, I mean, I'm a team player, but it comes to a point where, it's got to be fair.
Listen, Nick, I don't disagree with you. And that's exactly how I feel about it. I'm a team player too. And the way I'm going to be a team player for you is making sure we sell this house for top dollar. And more importantly, I'm going to make sure you don't overpay for the next home. So just like you wouldn't want your superintendent to come in and reduce your salary, don't reduce my professional fee. What you pay me doesn't really matter. It's about what I do for you and the outcome that you get financially. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I would, but I'm just not comfortable signing any papers right now.
Yeah. Okay. And what about signing paperwork right now makes you feel uncomfortable?
Because then I'm bound to you, and I'm not sure that I 100% want to work with you.
Listen, Nick, I feel the exact same way, and like I told you earlier, I don't take every listing. And I think that we should be in a relationship where we both feel very comfortable if things aren't working, that we aren't tied into a long-term contract. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we both, my wife and I both really like you and like what you're saying, but
Of course,
it's important for us also to search out others as well.
No, and listen, I appreciate that, Nick. And if I was in your shoes, I might be looking as well. However, you said you and your wife are comfortable with me. Are you confident that I can do the job based on what I shared with you and based on my track record? Do you feel confident I could get your home sold?
I do feel confident. I think we both do.
Yeah.
However, the 6% really, it's like right in the forefront of our minds. Like, if you do 5, we got a deal.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, Nick, I have to tell you, my commission is 6%. I can't do it for 5. I'd rather turn you down than let you down. And Nick, let me ask you a question. And I'm gonna wrap this up really quickly so we can go to some other ones. But let me ask you a question, Nick. You're talking about looking at other real estate agents, and you've already talked to me. Tell me 2 or 3 things that you're looking for in the real estate agent that you're going to choose to sell your home. What are the most important things?
That they do what they say they're going to do.
Right.
And we've had experiences where that didn't happen.
Okay.
If they say they're going to put door handles on people's houses, and they're going to go around the neighborhood and make sure that people know there's an open house, and things like that, are really important. And, in the past, we've had a realtor say they were going to do that and never see any of those signs out there, and,
That's
get our house
frustrating.
on the market, not just in the NJMLS, but also in Garden State, on Zillow, everywhere, and it's important that all people everywhere know about it, not just in New Jersey either.
I completely agree with you. So I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying to me. You're saying that you feel confident in me. However, your past has showed you that sometimes people overpromise and underdeliver, and you don't want that to be the case and be locked into a contract. That's what I hear you saying, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and have you sign the paperwork, and I'm going to include a something I call the easy exit listing agreement. And here's what this means for you, Nick. In 30 days, if I'm not doing everything I said I would do, if I'm not getting you the results you're looking for, you're able to terminate the contract and you owe me nothing. And you can list with another agent the next day. So you're not going to be locked into a contract. So let's go ahead and sign the paperwork. Let me go to work for you, show you exactly what I do. And like I said before, if you're not happy after 30 days, you're able to terminate that contract. Is that fair?
It's fair, yeah, but I would need to talk to my wife about it first.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, if you're like me, I have to talk to my wife about everything before I make a decision. So, Nick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step out to my car really quickly. I know you need to call her because she's at work. Go ahead and call her, have a conversation about this easy exit listing agreement. And when I come back in 10 minutes, we're going to make a decision on whether you guys list with me or if I take your listing. And either one is fine. All right?
Okay, good job, David.
All right. That's what I would say. That's what I would do. I mean, isn't our job to find out what the problem is and solve the problem?
Yeah, persistent.
Yep. I didn't keep talking about commission. Once you mentioned being locked into a contract, I'm like, okay, this is what's really important to him. I'm listening to you. And so I saw that problem. If you're afraid about being locked in, I'm not talking about commission anymore. I'm talking about how I can set this up where you're not locked in. And then I'm getting you to make a decision, and you throwing your wife in there. First and foremost, if it was a true listing appointment, I wouldn't be there if your wife wasn't there. And you guys should not be going on the listing appointment if all decision makers aren't there, because if you do that, Nick is able to do what he just did. Let me talk to my wife and then I'll make a decision. You don't want that.
I basically that deal I was talking about, they loved me. Oh, it was the second time I was at their house. I came at like 9:30 at night, whenever they were good with the kids and did everything right. They're feeding me coffee, they're doing this, and at the end of the night I couldn't get the contract signed, and then they just ghosted me.
Yeah. Well, we have to work on multiple ways of closing. That's something we're doing in the push class right now. And Marilyn's asking, what if he said, no, she can't answer the phone while at work? I'm going to go back to what I said before. You guys need to learn how to pre-qualify, and the listing appointment, every decision maker needs to be there in person. They need to be on Zoom. They need to be on the conference call. If they can't be there, you should reschedule the meeting to when they can be there. Because then that becomes a condition a lot of times, not an objection. The condition is I can't make a decision until I talk to my wife. If they can't talk to their wife or their spouse, then you can't get that listing paperwork signed. Your job is to take away all of the objections you're going to get. The way you take that objection away is making sure that all decision makers are available for your meeting.
But what if you cancel and then another real estate agent steps in?
Oh, listen. You have to do that on a case-by-case basis. That could happen. I don't want to waste my time going to see someone when everyone's not there. That could happen. What I tend to do is I ask people to make me a promise, and I would say something like this. Nick, I have to have you and your wife there. And so what I need to do is reschedule to a time when you guys can both show up. All I'm going to ask you is that you not make any decisions until we meet. You want to make sure that you get your home sold and get to South Carolina by April. I'm the agent for the job, and I don't want to see you make a bad decision. So make sure that we have an opportunity to meet before you make a decision. Is that fair? Will you wait until we meet?
Sure.
And they may not wait. However, I find a lot of times when you get them to make that commitment, they will wait. So just ask for it. Just ask for that commitment.
Yeah, one thing I didn't realize is that we could do that 30-day trial paperwork.
Yeah, it's called the easy exit listing agreement, and I use this specifically with expireds because they're gun shy about getting back into another contract. And so when you can say to them, like, give me 30 days, right? Let me ask you guys this. Is it taking longer than 30 days to sell a house in today's market when it's priced correctly? No.
No, not at all.
Ashley, did you say yes? Or she might be talking to somebody else. Okay. It does not. So I don't have a problem saying I'll do a 30-day easy exit. because I know I'm not going to take that listing if it's not priced correctly. And I know if it's priced correctly, average days on market are 11 days in my area. It'll be sold. I have no problem with that. However, by
It's
me
87 here in Texas.
wait, is what now?
It's 87. Here in
87
Texas, where I'm at.
days?
Yeah,
Wow.
average days on market. Yep.
Wow. So if I was in Texas, I may not offer the 30-day. I might, hey, my contract's 6 months, but I have a 3-month, easy exit program where in 3 months, if I don't have it sold or under contract or you're not happy, you can withdraw. I wouldn't offer 30 if I know my average days on market are 87. That seems high for Texas. Though.
I was gonna say, is that under contract or sold?
No, to go under contract. Average days on market. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I live in a huge military town, so this isn't PCS time, so there's not a lot of activity and movement.
Got it. Okay, so it's a little different market. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. What part of Texas?
Fort Hood, second
Fort
largest
Hood.
army.
Okay, gotcha. I know Fort Hood. Okay, I got it. Okay, all right. So you guys ready for the next one?
I have a quick question, if you don't mind. If you schedule a listing, Dave, and you want both, the husband and wife to be there, but then they schedule it and then you show up and one of them isn't there.
That's a tough one. So a couple of things you can do to help with that. Before your listing appointment, you should always call to confirm, shouldn't you? Hey, Felipe, it's David.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Calling you about our appointment today at 5 o'clock. I'm looking forward to meeting with you. Just want to make sure nothing has come up in your schedule or your wife's schedule that would keep us from meeting today at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, unfortunately, she can't make it.
Is she able to be on, maybe remotely if we pulled her up on the Zoom or a conference call, or is she just unavailable?
Just unavailable. Work had an emergency,
I
so
get
she
it.
can't make it. But yeah, we can definitely reschedule. No, I know, I get it. I like that approach. I was just curious, if you run into that situation and how you've handled it. So
yep. Or you can pivot, and Pete, look what Pete said in the comment. You could pivot and do a 2-step. You could go out there and meet the husband and take a look at the house and make sure you have your comps all tidied up. Talk about what you do on the marketing front to get the property sold, and then schedule the second appointment when the wife is going to be there, where you sit down and actually talk about the price recommendation. So you could do a 2-step. I don't have any problem with that. I just found that it was taking me more time to do that. And I was finding a lot of times in between the first and second step, there were times that agents would come in at the 11th hour and take that listing away from me. So I don't tend to like to do 2 steps for that reason. However, I know plenty of people who do it and it works. So 2 steps could be a good approach.
All right, thank you for that.
Yep. All right. So here's let me see what time we have. Okay. So here's the objection. I was just listed with your company and I'm not relisting with your company. I had a bad experience. So I appreciate the call, but we're not doing that. Natalia.
So, David, I'm sorry to hear that you had a bad experience with one of the agents from our company, but you know that it's not the company who sells your listing, it's an individual. So I'm the real estate agent, the local expert in your area, and I can definitely show you how I sell houses of my clients. So when would be a good time to stop by and show you how I sell houses? I'm available today at 5 p.m. and tomorrow around 10 a.m.
Perfect. Great way to handle it. And it's coming off natural. You don't sound scripted. You know what you're saying is internalized. Good job there. That's a good way to handle that one. So good job.
Thank you.
Pete,
Thank
you're
you,
up.
David.
You're welcome. You're up next, Pete.
Hey, I can certainly appreciate that. And let me ask you, I mean, what's your favorite, fast food restaurant?
McDonald's. Love the
McDonald's.
fries.
Yeah, I'm a McChicken guy myself, but I get down on some fries too. So let me ask you, David. I mean, say you went to a McDonald's and they served you fries and they were cold and nasty and they just did not hit the spot like they normally do. Would you stop going to McDonald's altogether?
Of course not. I mean, it's happened before and I still go. So no, of course not.
Of course, it's happened before. So that's a lot like what this is. So every brokerage is a little bit different, and even agents within the same individual office bring different things to the table. And if I could show you a way to get your home sold and actually get you onto that next step, what would stop you from taking 15 minutes to meet with me to talk about that?
I mean, I guess when you put it that way, I could be open to hearing what you have to say. I mean, it would have to be completely different than the other agent. But yeah, I'd be open to hearing what you have to say, Pete.
Okay, perfect. So is today at 3 or tomorrow at 4 better?
Let's go ahead and do tomorrow at 4.
All right, perfect. And will all decision makers be there tomorrow at 4?
Yeah, we'll both be here. Yes.
All right, perfect. See you tomorrow at 4.
So you see what Pete did? Instead of telling me, he's asking me questions. He's getting me involved in that conversation. Like, no, I wouldn't stop going to McDonald's. It was just a one-off. I had a bad experience that one time. Why would I stop going? Exactly. Same here. You had a bad experience with my company. However, I'm a different agent. You're not hiring the company. You're hiring me. Would it hurt to have a meeting for 10 or 15 minutes so I can show you what I do? Great job, Pete. Like that. Tim, what's up, Tim?
Hi, David.
What's up?
Yeah, so I have a rebuttal for that as well. Not as fancy, but my idea was just, hey, I can appreciate that, and I'm sorry for your experience with the other agent from the same company before. But I think you also realize that it is not the company that sell the house, but it's the agents individual agents' activities, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Right. And if I can show you what I can do differently to get your house sold this time, would you be open to consider the opportunity to sit down with me and so I can show you what I can do differently to sell your house?
I mean, can you just tell me, Tim? I don't have time to have meetings with everyone who calls me. Tell me what you do differently.
I
threw that in there. I know I was going to throw you off, but just go. Just keep pushing. Keep going.
Okay. Well, that's why I want to sit down with you, because I don't even know what the other agents did differently on your part, right? So, okay, I tried.
Listen, you attempted. You went for it. Somebody else, before I go to V, somebody else tell me if I said to you on the phone, like, listen, I'm not trying to meet with every agent. Tell me what you're going to do different. And don't say sell your home. Don't say sell your home. I want to hear something specific that you would do.
David, I completely understand that. However, my presentation is very visual. I wish that I could let you know over the phone, but it's best done in person. So would this afternoon at 5 work or tomorrow at 3?
Like I said, I can't meet with all you agents that are calling me. Just you can't tell me something you do different on the phone.
Sorry, David, I'm driving and you broke up.
Oh, you can't tell me on the phone something you do different?
Well, one thing we do differently, since David, is we keep our promises to our sellers and we sell their homes. So would this afternoon at 4 work or tomorrow at 5 for us to show you the detailed plan on how we get homes sold in your neighborhood?
Okay. All right. I'll take that. What if we just said, and Jan, I'm coming to you next. What if we just said, well, the main thing that I do differently is I don't take every listing. I'm not even sure if your house qualifies for my program. And that's why we need to sit down and talk. I want to show you what I do to get property sold. And the one thing I will tell you, if I cannot help you accomplish your goal, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm definitely not going to waste my time. And I'm sure this time around, you want an agent who's going to be a straight shooter and tell you what you want to hear, right? That's why we need to meet. So give me 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, if you don't hear something different, we can shake hands and part ways. Fair enough? That's where I would take it. That's another way you can handle that. Jan, go ahead.
All right, thanks for the question, David. Do you know the difference between an active agent and a passive agent?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, let me just inform you really quick, David. So an active agent like myself is going to go out and aggressively market your property to every single agent in the market and every single buyer in the market. Whereas a passive agent is going to stick a sign in the yard and pray someone sells the home.
Okay. So wrap it up. Wrap it up for me.
I lost my train of thought. I said, no, it's okay. I thought you were about to start talking. My bad.
No.
Bad.
I wanted to hear you wrap it up and close me.
Okay, David. So are you ready to sign the paperwork?
You went straight to it. I ain't mad at you. I'm not mad at you at all. What you were saying made me think about a script. Jan, have you heard the 3P script?
3P? No, I don't think so.
Write this down, guys, because this is helpful and it comes up a lot. You know, Mr. Seller, it sounds to me like you have what we call a 3P real estate agent. That's someone that puts your house on the multiple listing service. They put a sign in your front yard and they sit back and they pray somebody sells it. That's a 3P agent. The reason you're going to meet with me is because I do the 4th and the 5th P. I price watch. I know the market. More importantly, I prospect to find the buyers for your house. I'm sure when you hired an agent, that's what you expected them to do, right? Find you a buyer. Correct. That's what I do. So can we meet today at 6 or tomorrow at 4? So I can show you how I do that.
What was the last P?
Prospect. And if you guys know about reverse prospecting, that's where you really want to talk about it and really wow them with what reverse prospecting is. Matt, go ahead. You're up.
You stole my thunder. I was gonna say, David, I appreciate it. Do you know what reverse prospecting is?
I don't. What is that?
Well, I know you don't have a lot of time to meet with everybody, but I certainly don't have enough time to tell you what reverse prospecting is over the phone. I'd be happy to explain to you why that's so different and impactful for each one of my sellers. Do you have time today at 3, or is 4 tomorrow better?
We'll do 3.
Thank you. I'll see you at 3.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Lou.
So one thing that's really cool for listings that we do is we kind of call it a listing life cycle management, right? Everything kind of comes always full circle. You always start at the beginning when you're doing a listing. It starts with your creatives, right? How you're going to prep the home, how you're going to visualize the home, how you're going to take your videos, your drones, how people are going to see it, and how you're driving your traffic. Then how are you marketing the home? Right now you're live. So you can take people through the life cycle management of a transaction and just explain to them how you're different in every component of that life cycle management of that transaction, how you're going to manage the process once they get an offer so that the money actually gets to their pocket, because it's not just about getting them an offer. Now you're doing home inspections. You got to get your certificate of occupancies. You got to do your fire and smoke. And then your value is all along that life cycle management of that transaction. And that's something that you can put together as an agent to prepare from start to finish. These are all the components that you're going to get from me from start to finish to where the money actually hits your account.
Love that. Love that. Thank you, Lou. And listen, Ashley put in the comment, why do sellers eat? What do they mean when they say, what are you going to do differently? Like, what do they even think we do? Do they even know what we do? Here's one thing I'll say, and you guys know I feel very passionately about this. A lot of them don't know what we do, because when they look at us, especially on social media, all they see us doing is open house 1 to 4. Hey, I just listed a property. Hey, I just sold a property. We aren't talking about what we do. So it's kind of it's shame on us. We need to start documenting versus creating content. We need to document and show people what we do. And when someone says to me, like, what do you do differently? Based on what Ashley just said, what if we hit back and said, well, did your agent go over a detailed marketing plan? Do you know exactly what they did or what they said they were going to do to sell your home? Well, no, they didn't cover that with me. Well, the first thing I'm going to do differently is sit down with you and go over my detailed marketing and pricing strategy. I'm going to show you how I got home sold when your house was sitting on the market. And I'm sure that's really what you want. You want to figure out why your house didn't sell, right? So let's go ahead and get together. Let me demonstrate to you what I do differently with my marketing, and I will outline it for you so you know what to expect from me. That's another way we can handle that. Wouldn't you guys agree? I'm purposely throwing in a lot of tie downs. I hope you guys are picking up on that. I want you to start using tie downs. So I know it may be like, David, you keep using tie. I'm doing that on purpose because I want you to hear the importance of using tie downs. Last one. I'm not going to list my house at that price. If we can go in at my number, I'll list it with you today. I mean, $450 is not enough. I need $500,000 minimum. If you list it at 500, I'll give you the listing today. Manny, what's up? I'm gonna go to Manny, then Nick.
You know what worries me about that? that you're going to be helping the next guys sell their house. Remove your seller cap for 1 minute. And when buyers walk in, they do comparison shopping. If they see one house next door to you for 450,000, what was the price that you said, Dave? I'm sorry.
450 is what it's worth. I want 500.
If they see a house next door to you for 450 and then they come to your house and they look at your house and they compare the houses and they see the house that was 450, they could do some modifications to it for 10 grand. Which house do you think they're going to pick?
Yeah, I hear you on that. The lower one. Yeah.
That's why you should come in at 450 versus 500, because you're just going to miss out on selling your home and get into Nashville at the time you needed to get to.
I love that. And while you were talking, I agree with everything you said. I was thinking of like the feel, felt, found came into my head. And I was thinking like, Manny, I understand why you feel that way. I've had other sellers that have felt the exact same way. And what they found is that they were helping the competition sell and they weren't selling. Do you know what I mean by that? Like people were coming to see the house at 450 and then seeing the one at 500. And when they saw there was no difference, they would just go buy the lower price home. So all the homes around them were selling and their house stayed on the market. I mean, how would you feel if that was the case with your house and you weren't selling?
I wouldn't feel good.
Yeah. So that's one way to handle it. I love this. Pete, Fred from your office taught me this. Lou, Fred taught me this. And I love this. And I just want to, we may have talked about it before, but as we wrap up, I just want to show you guys this again. Hey, Ashley, I have this $100 bill. And yes, it's real, Ashley. If I offered to sell this to you for $50, Ashley, would you buy it?
Yeah.
Of course, right? How about 75?
Yeah, I still make a $25 profit.
I mean, hell, even if I offered it to you at 95, would you buy it?
Yeah, I would buy it.
Yeah, of course. However, Ashley, on the flip side, if I came to you and I sold this to you for 110, would you buy it?
Yeah.
Nope, you missed me. You missed me. If I was going to offer to sell you this $100 bill for $110, would you still buy it?
No, I won't buy it.
Well, why not?
Because it's not worth that.
Because it's not worth
I
it, right?
just wanted to see what you was gonna say. I'm sorry.
I was about to sell it to you. For 110. I was about to give you my cash app. But no, you wouldn't buy it for 110, Ashley, because you said it's not worth 110, right?
No.
But so what's interesting to me, Ashley, is that's exactly what you're trying to have me do with your house. You're trying to have me offer it up at a price that it's not worth. And it's not going to sell. And if that's the number you want, Ashley, I'd rather turn you down than let you down. I can't sell your house for that price. And if I could, I would. You make more money and I would make more money, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
So why don't we go ahead and do the right thing and price it based on where the market tells us it needs to be priced so I can get you moved to South Carolina by April?
Yeah, I understand that, David, but my issue is you're saying my house is worth $100, right? It's $100. So why we don't just put it on the market for the $100, and the people that thinks that is worth and knows what it's worth, they'll buy this for the $100. I just want to put it on for exactly what it's worth. The market is telling us, even by your comps, that we can put it on the market at 450, right? Let's just do it at that price. Why are you telling me to go lower?
Well, so let me ask you this, Ashley, and we can do 450. Let me ask you a question. Would it pose a problem for you if I could pull in 460 or 470 for you? I mean, what would you do with that extra 10 or 20 grand?
I would love that. That'd be cool.
Are you familiar with how a auction works, Ashley? Have you ever seen an auction or gone to an auction before?
I haven't gone to an auction, but I've seen an auction.
Yeah, so they take an item and they know what the market value is. Don't they start it off well below market value?
Yeah.
And what's
And
the point?
I get where you're coming here.
Yeah.
My problem is that if we try that approach and we do it there and that doesn't work and I end up getting less than what my home, I'm just scared to get lowballed and people not to come in at that 450 value because I don't want to take anything less than that.
Completely understand why you would feel that way. Here's what I'll tell you. You can never underprice a home. It just can't happen, especially in the market like today. There's a less inventory. The buyers and the agents know what a home is worth. And so when we put a house that's on the market that's worth $450 and we put it on for $430, we're going to get offers over $430 because they recognize that it's a great bargain and they don't want to lose the property. So they're going to submit offers and we're going to get more than one. And Ashley, if we get more than one offer, do you know what the advantage is for you?
Yeah, I get to choose.
You get to choose. I mean, wouldn't you like to have a choice of who buys your home? Maybe someone paying cash over someone that's has a conventional loan or FHA loan.
Yeah.
Maybe someone who can close faster and get you to South Carolina versus someone who wants to delay closing.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to get you options. And so the multiple offers can mean more money. It could also mean just more options to choose from. And that's the situation you're going to be in when you list your house with me. So why don't we go ahead and do the right thing and use my pricing strategy and get your home listed?
Sounds good.
Does it though? Does it really sound good? Would you give me the listing?
Yeah, I would give you the listing.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. Just want to make sure. But I think it's good questions that you're asking, because we get that pushback from people. People don't want to, they don't want to price strategically because they're like, if I put it at that price and nobody offers me more than that, I'm stuck. And I'm thinking in my head, no, you're not stuck. If nobody's offering you more, it's because it's not worth more, right? That's the market value of the home. So this is where it's really important for us to know how to run comps so that we know what it will sell for, what the market value is. And then our pricing strategy is, hey, if we go 10% lower or 15% lower, we're purposely creating an auction effect to get the multiple offers. But that's being strategic. That's a strategic pricing situation, if that makes sense.
A lot of people, like what I have found is that I can get 90% of the people to be down with the strategic marketing. And then there's always that listing where they're like, no, we just go with whatever that is.
And you know what? I'm happy with either one. If they don't want to do the strategic pricing and they're pricing it within the range where it will sell, let's go. I'm not going to argue that. I'm telling them the advantages of going lower. If they don't feel comfortable with that, 450 is still in the range, sign the paperwork.
Okay. And what happens if like 2 weeks or 3 weeks passed and 450 didn't get it done, even though the recent sales and everything did suggest 450 is a market value, but it didn't bring enough people in?
That's why we do the 4th and 5th P. We prospect and we price watch. Every week we talk to our clients. We should be talking about the new homes that came on the market, what went under contract, what sold, and we have to be paying attention to the market. In 2 weeks, the National Association of Realtors tells us if a house hasn't sold, it's a pricing issue. And so then we have to readjust the price if we're not getting the activity. So we just have to stay on top of it. We have to price watch and we have to communicate with our sellers and let them know what's happening with the market in their area.
Makes sense.
All right. Yeah. And listen to Pete, start practicing those price reduction scripts. He's absolutely right. Absolutely right. You have to get comfortable having those conversations. And it's not you, it's the market. The market is telling us if we want to get it sold, we have to come down on price because we aren't getting the offers. That's them telling us that we're not priced correctly. And you got to get used to having that conversation, Ashley. Guys, I want to say this. I know we're past 9:30. Did today bring you value? Yes. Okay. I love all the participation. I love people who are raising their hands, getting out of their comfort zone, right? This is what it takes to grow. Don't be afraid that you're going to say the wrong thing. This is, we sweat and practice so we don't bleed in war. I really want you guys to know that. I really want you guys to understand that. What happened to my camera? There we go. Thank you, Natalia. I don't know what happened there. So anyhow, I'm going to let you guys go because I want you to go get on the phone. If you need scripts, if you don't have scripts, I have this Google Drive and I have scripts from all over, you know, my scripts, KW scripts, Mike Ferry scripts.